Cause I rose above them circumstances, took hold of one of them options, got exposed to me. I chose to be the master of my fate and what I'm supposed to be. Took hold of that rope, came from that boat when it was stowed to me. I owned all my decisions, pray for my forgiveness, repent for my mistakes. I'm chasing greatness and I'm finished.
Man, I want to do a response video to a reaction video by MTR, man, where he was reacting to a video where me and Sam Tyler here in Bangkok did a collab, man, where we did a condo tour here at my spot, man. And you know, there are several points I wanted to speak to about what, you know, things he mentioned in that video, such as, you know, whether to rent or buy here in Thailand, the benefits, the pros and cons and all that kind of stuff. But for this video, I specifically want to speak to a specific part of his reaction video where he was talking about Thai women, or where I was talking about Thai women in the video. And I made a comment and I said, it's very hard to date Western women once you've dated women from Asia, or what I said, women from Thailand. The women here, or the women I've dated, they won't really let you touch anything. Like, I went several months without even cutting my fingernails. It's like a no-go. Like, the women, they kind of own that feminine role here, which is, you know, kind of in America, if you speak on that, it's kind of like, whoa, like, you know, but it's just
patriarchy, oppression. He has you doing what, girl? You need to decenter yourself.
And I really want to speak to that, because like, you have to understand, man, like Thai women, Asian women are really like that. Asian women are really like that. And you can see videos by people like, you know, Zoom to Thailand. He goes in heavy on it, where he's speaking about the differences between dating Western women and dating Asian women, or the brother Zuri. You know, he speaks about a lot of the same things, but I really don't speak about that, man, because unless you've experienced it, it may sound like BS. Like, unless you've experienced dating someone from this culture, because that's what it comes down to, culture. Unless you've experienced it, it actually sounds like cap. It actually sounds like BS, man. So you really never hear me speak about, the interaction between, or what dating is like over here, rather. You know what I mean? But again, shout out to brother MTR, man. And I know he spent some time over here in Phuket for several weeks or several months, man. And now I believe he's strongly considering moving back over here, man. So I wanted to speak to that one part. Like, you really have to understand that Asian women are really like that. Like, they really love that hard. But one thing I want to say is, like, one thing I'm not saying is that Asian women or Thai women are different, because they aren't different. Because you have to understand, every single woman on the planet is still governed by her nature. Like, if you're a man and you start slacking, like, you don't have purpose and you don't have drive and you kind of just want to sit around and play the PS5 all day and you're not moving forward, like that Asian woman, that Thai woman will leave you just like an American woman. You know what I'm saying? They're governed by their nature, but there's a slight difference when it comes to the culture of Thai women. And I'll speak specifically to Thai women. There's a big difference in the culture. And let me say this too. I want to address this also, because when brother MTR posted the clip on Instagram, you know, I was looking through the comments very briefly, and I saw one or two comments where women were saying, because in the video I mentioned, in the clip, I said, hey, you know what? Like for example, I haven't even cut my fingernails in like a matter of months, because, you know, the woman that I was dating was, I mean, like, she wouldn't let me touch anything. I couldn't touch a dish. I couldn't touch a vacuum cleaner. I couldn't touch a broom. Like, she would get to the point where she was offended. And I saw where a few women commented under brother MTR's IG video, and they said, "You telling me you can't get that from, you know, American woman?" And this is I'm glad she said that, because that's a very valid point. And the short answer is yes. The last person that I dated, and I can go back a few people, but the very last person that I dated, like, every single trait that I can speak to about the women over here, I can speak to about that woman. The last woman I dated, man, and you didn't hear me talk about her unless you lived in Dallas and you saw me and her out at certain spots. You would never know her and I were talking, man. But she was a vibe. She was a vibe, man. And I know one thing that stood out from her that anybody I've ever dated, or most people I've dated, is that she came from a very healthy household. But all the things that I'll explain about women over here, she moved just like that. So it's not I'll say this. If you're a man and you aren't getting women in America, you're not going to come over here and get a very different experience. You're going to get a different experience, but you're not going to get the experience that you think. Like a woman, regardless of where she's from, regardless of what she speaks, women know lame men when they see them. So she's not going to just treat you like you're him if you're not him. Now, pointing out one of the differences. Like yes, you can get this experience in America or in the West, but you have to move a certain way. Like I move a certain way where if a woman's in my life, she just automatically falls into a specific energy and wants to give me a certain type of energy because of the energy I'm pouring in her. So a lot of the sisters are making a lot of sense. Like you can't get that over there, yes. But the difference is if you're a man and you aren't moving like you're supposed to move, you aren't moving in your masculine, you aren't, you don't have that drive, you aren't a builder. If you're a man and you move over here, you're still going to get that very feminine experience. Of course, her attraction level may not be, of that as a man that's moving different. But one of the differences I've noticed between women over here and women in the West, women in the West have a tendency to be able to cut that switch on and off if they're going to give you that energy. They'll say, "Hey, girl, you know what? If I'm gonna be doing this, and this, oh, he's got to be doing X, Y, and Z. He's got to have this kind of dollars. He has to be moving in a certain way, and then I'll give that to him." Over here, if a woman is entertaining you on any level, that's the energy she's going to give you. Which means if you're entertaining a woman and y'all are dating and you're looking to shoot your shot at her the long way, you're going to get that treatment where she caters to every area of your life. If you hook up with a woman and y'all meet at the club and it's a one night stand and she spends the night, when she wakes up, she's going to be in that same energy of wanting to make sure everything is right. So any scenario you can think of, if you're walking down Walking Street and you get with the bar girl and y'all go kind of just do y'all's thing and hang out, you're still going to get that same feminine let me take care of you, let me make sure, you're going to get that same energy, and that's the difference, because it's not really a choice over here. It's so embedded in their culture. Like it's just who they are. So I'm never saying that Asian women are better. It's just that it's so embedded in their culture. Now the difference is, like they love hard, and it's coming from a more concrete place because it's who they are. And I'll say this. I'll start with this. The women over here are very giving. They're very giving. Can you get this from the West? Yes. But over here, I would say it's the same thing, but multiplied. You can get reciprocation from women in the West. Again, the last sister I was speaking to before I came over here, like she was moving in, like she was a giver. She was all these things. And to be honest, the only reason that thing severed was because I was getting ready to move to Thailand, and she wouldn't, I don't think she wasn't ready to call that place. She had things going on in her life, so it just kind of went separate ways. But let me say this: when I say they're giving, this is what I mean. Like in my experience, right? And I've dated 3 women over here, right? I've gone out on dates with 3 women. Let me say it like that. When I say they're giving, it's very difficult, almost impossible, to outgive a Thai woman. And what I mean by that is the person that I've dated for the longest amount of time over here, we would have fun. We would go out and do things. We would, go to another city. We would, go to another country and spend some time. We would go and do things. So that was me kind of giving her different experiences and pouring into her life. And it's, you have to understand, when you deal with a Thai woman, you're getting that same thing poured back into you tenfold. And maybe not in dollars, but in energy. And what I mean by that is, like it seems like at all times the women I've experienced are always just giving. And I'm speaking to one woman specifically on this issue, but like, say for example, if I'm sitting here working and I'll say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna be locked in for the next 4 or 5 hours, and I say, hey, you know what, go to the mall and hey, go get your nails done, or go get something to eat and go spend some time. And I give her, a few thousand baht, 2,000 baht, 3,000 baht, which is 3,000 baht is roughly $100. So if I give $100, or 2,000 baht, $60, man, like you can go to the mall and do some things with that. You can get your nails done, come back with some shoes, and haven't been ate, right? If I give her 3,000 baht, 4,000 baht, if she goes to the mall, when she comes back, in every scenario, 3,500 baht of what I gave her is going to be for something she bought for me. Whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's shoes, whether it's watch, whether it's some kind of gadget. And this is every single time. Every single time. It's like their energy is all about pouring back into the man that they're with. Like even when she's not here and she's back at home, she'll call and say, hey, you know what? Are you at home? I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting there working. She'll like, go downstairs. The Grab driver's down there. Either, I just sent you some dinner or they're delivering some shoes or some clothes. Like you have no idea how many clothes I have in my closet that are from the woman that I was dating. It's hard to outgive them because every time you're turning around, they're giving you something else. Even a woman I'll use the word dated, even a woman that I was entertaining briefly. Not the best of situations, man. It was a woman that I was dating briefly, man. And the thing is, she worked at the front desk at the place where I used to live. Bad mistake. Y'all already know. You never entertain someone who works where you live, man. So, you can imagine dating the person that's working the front desk where you live, man. Like you can understand all the madness that will come with that, man. Every time you come by, that's the person you're interacting with. So you can imagine all the things that come with that, man. Even when her and I started talking, it started off as friends and we were cool and we were chilling, we were speaking, we would have a few words. And it came to the point, man, where I would be sitting there, I'll wake up in the morning and I'm sitting there working in my desk and I would hear just a light knock at the door. Almost to the point where I was like, is that my door? Is that TV? Is that down the hall? Like, what is that? And I would open the door, and on the door handle, as it swings in, on the door handle, I'm raising up 3 or 4 bags. And there's watermelon, there's cherries, there's fried chicken, there's noodles, there's all kind of fruit, all kind of orange juice in a bag. And I look down the hall, man, and all I would see is forehead sticking around the corner, like leaning back, looking around the corner. And then she would wave and just keep on going. And she would do this on a regular basis, man. And so they're just very giving in a relationship. They're very giving. It's like something that they can't cut off. And I'm comparing that to, the reason I say that is because I'm comparing that to the culture, or at least the digital culture. At least the Instagram culture where women are always talking about, where's my stuff? Bring me stuff. And
niggas be wondering why you mean to them and why you don't be listening to them, baby. You ain't gave me no stuff. You ain't gave me no stuff. Stuff make me nice and stuff make me listen a little bit. Where's my stuff?
And a man got to make 6 figures and and we not going 50-50 and all those conversations really don't exist over here. Like they really don't exist over here. And I'm not saying there aren't good women in the West, but there's so much red tape. There are so many hurdles you gotta jump. There's so many zeros you must have in the bank. There's so much of a certain status that you have to have. There's a certain section that you have to be in a club to entertain the majority of these women. So you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that once you get past all that madness that these women aren't good. But again, these women are only presenting themselves a certain way to the highest caliber of men. Should every man be striving to be that caliber? Yes. So you ain't got to have the conversation. So it's no big deal. So it don't matter how they moving. But a lot of men aren't moving like that, and a lot of it just causes a clash. So when a man comes over here and he experiences something different, it's like whoa. It's like whoa. So they're very giving, man. Even in the point where I'll say this. Even like here, even like in the West, where sometimes a woman, like sometimes to get with a woman, to date in the West, not every scenario, but some scenarios, like it's very expensive to date in the West because a lot of women expect to, a certain treatment, like I want to be at these kind of places and these kind of restaurants, and you need to buy me a bag, and I'm always wanting something, I'm always lacking. Where's my stuff? Like that's the energy, like the experiences I've had. I've never experienced a woman that has this give me energy. Matter of fact, it's always to the point where, like, even the person that I was talking about, she knows who she is, who's always sending clothes and sending this. Like, I had to talk to her one day. Like, I said, hey, like, stop doing that. Like, I'm almost trying to get pissed off. Like, chill. Like, buy you some stuff. Buy you some shoes. Get your nails done. Do this. And she's like, no. Like the issue, not the issue, but the thing. Like, and this is my experience. Like, if there's a vice that the women, or specifically a woman that I've dated over here, has to where she wants to spend a lot of money, it's on food. And I'm not talking about, oh, let's go out to Nobu. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, hey, you know what? I'm about to go down the street right quick and go get some street food and come back with just all kind of meats and vegetables and roots and all kind of getting ready to cook. Like this, it's crazy, man. And this is why I don't have this conversation with people, because it almost sounds unreal. You know how it's not a lot. You know how some women get online nowadays and they say, you know what, girl, I ain't cooking for no man, and that I ain't doing all this. Like the experience I had was the complete opposite, to the point where I had to tell a woman to stop cooking. Going back to what I was saying before I changed up, like the only spending habits that women I've dated have, issues were, I just want to go out and buy food all day and cook it. Like there was a woman that I dated, man, that cooked. If she was up, something was in the kitchen cooking nonstop. She would go out that door, man, and come back with all kind of bushels of all kind of food and just cook all day. And expected me to eat all day. I'm not talking about snack. I'm talking about to sit down at a table 4 or 5 times a day and have a full session. And I got to the point where I said, hey, you know what? Like, you gotta chill. I'm like, you've never heard of diabetes? Like, the human body can't consume food like that 24 hours a day. So again, man, like the problems you have over here are different than the problems you have in the West, man. Because women are just so giving. Just the energy of giving, man. I can't speak about that enough, because a lot of times we're having a conversation about, man, I just want somebody to reciprocate. Brother, you're gonna have to slow a woman down over here and say, hey, you know what? Just chill out. Like enjoy some time for, just chill out. Even in that clip where I said, hey, you know what? A woman, like cutting fingernails and all that kind of stuff. Like, I literally mean, man, if again, this is my experience, but if you're doing anything, if I drink this bottle of water and I set this bottle of water down and it's sitting there for a minute and I get up and I'm getting ready to throw in the trash can, it's like, no, why are you doing that? Or if I'm sitting there eating because she's been cooking all day and I say, hey, you know what? Let me help. Let me wash some dishes. Let me wash this. She's literally offended. She's literally, and I'm gonna tell you what I was told. One time, she said, no, like kings don't do that. Like, in other words, she wasn't trying to gas me. She was just like, no, men, like, you don't do that. I got that. It's a difference, man. Again, it's not about being better. It's not about being, even when it comes to meeting women, even when it comes to meeting women, and I'll speak to like the third person that I've dated since I've been here, and that was more of a recent, exchange of time and energy, and I'll say this, even meeting women, not having to jump through all these loopholes and say, hey, you know what, I make, 7.2 million a year and I'm worthy of this. Like if a woman is interested in you here, she's interested in you here before she knows you got a bag, or like if she's feeling you, she's feeling you. And this is what I want to speak to. Like when I first met this person that I'm speaking about now, man, which, like for example, a lot of women in the West, and I made a video about this. A lot of women in the West frown upon coffee dates.
So I don't do coffee dates, but if I am going to do a coffee date, I am requiring $150 to go on the coffee date.
They say that, oh no, like I'm worth more than that. I need to be at the steakhouse on day one. You need to be spending $500. You need to be spending, $1,100 on me because I'm me, to show me that you're interested. The woman that I went on a date with most recently, I can remember we connected on social media. We connected on Instagram, and we were kind of just back and forth. And it was like, hey, you know what? I want to meet you. Boom, I want to meet you. Let's connect soon. And I was like, well. Hey, let's connect soon. And, for me, every day is either Monday when I'm working, or every day is either Saturday. So I was like, hey, well, shoot, what you doing in the next 24, 48 hours? It's the middle of the week. And she was like, I'm working, had a bag, got a good job, man. And she was like, well, hey, you know what? Let's I'll just take a day off and let's just kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like not no, hey, you gonna pay my bills none of that. Just hey, I'm gonna take a day off and let's kick it. And this is what the date entailed. It wasn't no steakhouses. It wasn't none of that. When we met that morning, the first time we ever met, and the first thing we did was go for a run. We running down the beach. We hiking up hills. We going up to see the Buddha on the mount. We going to the sign that overlooks the city. We doing all that, man. We kind of out and about being active. And then we went to a coffee shop and had coffee. And that was the initial part of the date. There was no, hey, you know what? I deserve this. It was like, hey, you know what? If I'm feeling you, I don't care if we're walking in the park or if we're drinking some 200 baht coffee. Like if I want to get to meet you, then that's what it is. And I'm telling you, a lot of women in the West, like even that threshold, they can't even. Like it has to be bells and whistles initially. So me and the young lady met. Did some exercising, had some coffee, and from that it was like, hey, you know what? We kind of vibing. You cool, I'm cooling, and I'm like, shoot, what you doing in the next couple hours? You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, man, it's a Tuesday, it's a Thursday. I don't know what day it was. I'm out there in the Gulf of Thailand, and I'm riding jet skis with Kimura. You know what I'm saying? So just the women down here are built different. It's just a lot of stresses that come with getting to know people in the West. It doesn't exist over here. It doesn't exist. So if you're just getting to meet somebody, man, it's just like it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe, man. I can't begin to tell you just how different it is over here. Like women over here are really like that. They really like that. You know what I'm saying? And I see the videos, man. I think the brother's name is Zuri. In Zoom to Thailand, and a few other guys. The guy that's with, I can't think of her name, Papayan. The sister here from Bangkok with the short pixie cut. She's kind of like popping over here. Her and her guy, man, I see she be spoiling him, man. He be pouring into her. It's just a different energy over here, man. Like a lot of these couples, mainly the ones I'm talking about, like their women have like these high social media, profiles or whatever, man, and they're getting the bag on social media, and the men are helping them get the bag, and it's a different experience, bro. But I'm gonna tell you this. The women over here are different, and a lot of these guys come over here, man, and find wives if that's what you're looking for. But when it comes to wives, from what I hear, all roads lead to the Philippines.
People be like, these American guys are going across the country to find a Filipina slaves. Girl, you're just not doing your job. You are just not doing your job properly. That's why they look for us, because we do it good.
And I've heard this on more than one occasion, right? And there was this sister. There was this sister, man. Well, I'll say this. There's this brother that I know, man, and I call him my brother, but I only know him because of his wife. Him and his wife, man, were having some one-on-one conversations, talking about work and branding, and we were kind of helping each other's businesses. And she would always just be talking about her husband and his business. And she would always be talking about how she was, man, it was unreal, how she was pouring into him and learning things and taking her skill set and applying it to his business. And that was a few years ago. Now his business is booming. I see him online, man, and I know she played a huge part in that. But one thing, the last time I talked to her, we were talking about, she was asking me how I like it over here, and I was talking about, we talked about the women. And she said, hey, you know what? When you're ready to find a wife, go to the Philippines. And I said, you know what? A partner of mine who spent a year or two over there said the same things. I said, and someone else at another time said the same thing. And I said, why do you say that? And she said, you know what? Just over there, we kind of move different. And she kind of gave me, the mindset of women over there. It's slightly different. And when she finished explaining this caliber of woman that was over there, I told her this. I said, you know what? I said, what you're saying, it sounds like cap, but it's true, because what you're saying, I saw inside of you, and I heard you for a year or two speak that same energy over your husband. And I said, I agree. Y'all are definitely built different. Like, it's almost like the women, and I'm not saying that there aren't 304s in over there, or there aren't women that move, but I think the cultural difference over there is more than just being in this feminine role. It's more about, hey, I'm giving you the full wife treatment, whatever that looks like to them, man. So they just move slightly different. But I've always heard that all roads lead to the Philippines when you're looking for a wife. Not saying that there aren't wife types here in Thailand and other parts of Asia, because there are. But in a nutshell, man, like again, I'm having this conversation only because I know brother MTR has spent time over here, and me saying these things, and people that are hearing this video, and you're over here in Thailand and you've dated over here, you know what it is. And you know that to try to explain this to somebody that hasn't experienced it, it's a challenge, because it sounds like cap. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, one of my partners, man, my brothers, one of my brothers in the power circle, him and I, we were on a power circle call some weeks ago, and it's probably 20, 30 odd people on the screen. And I'm assuming he was, not assuming now, he was at the airport, and I guess he was getting ready to catch a flight, but he was trying to catch as much of the Zoom call as he could, right? And toward the end of the call, it looked like he was kind of, running through the airport like OJ. He had his screen on. I kind of see it going back and forth. And I'm sitting there giving my spiel, and I'm looking at his screen at the same time. And I see this baddie in the background whose face keep appearing as he's moving. And I said, okay, I see you, brother. So I get back to the power circle meeting. Later on that evening, I text him. I said, bro, did I see you running through the AP like OJ with an Asian baddie? He said, yeah, man. And he just instantly started going into what the relationship was like. And in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, this sounds like BS if I didn't know for a fact that that's how it is. He said, yeah, man, it's like this. Again, he wasn't saying, hey, man, these women are so much better. He was just saying it's a completely different experience than what I'm experiencing. So I'm going to say it again, man. Asian women are really like that. Thai women are really like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they're better. It's just there's a heavy cultural difference, pertaining to the way that they love, pertaining to the way that they pour into, to the way that they pour and cater into their men.